Welcome back, this is Force 13 Live. The time on the East Coast is 9 o'clock, and in the background you can hear the live sound. I could show you visual, but you wouldn't see anything because it's the middle of the night now. Well, it's dark anyway. From St. Lucie. That's where the audio is coming from, and we're just sort of giving you the feel of everything right now in realistic means, and just as I say that, the sound goes away. So we'll try and get that back. It should be back in a few moments. But that's what it sounds like over there right now, and every so often you hear some real rain bands coming through. But until the morning, it appears that we're blind for now, because I can't find anything that will that we can watch in the meantime. I know that some feeds are available, but not to me, sadly. My name's Nathan Foy. I'm joined by the Skype team. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, y'all.
Today we've got a lot of people in this hour, that is. We have Lee, Hank, David, Strat, Isaac, and Nathan Bell, who's joined us today.
Thank you guys. Just want to give a quick update. The outer rain bands, the outer core, the outer eye band is beginning to hit Palm Beach. So if that's telling me that's getting a little more closer to Palm Beach.
Yep. And I think specifically something I noticed, the eye was looking less impressive right before it skirmed by Freeport and the Grand Bahama Island, but in the latest frames, it's easier to see in the infrared satellite. The eye was once again become very impressive to see. Easier to tell on the, especially it's actually on the screen as well, so everyone else can see it. It's easier to tell than on the radar, apparently.
We're looking at the radar.
Yep, so it's
starting to get a dry band of nothing really from Cape Coral all the way up towards
You could tell he knows.
And Nathan, there was a question put to the team. What's the age of the members?
Variable.
Variable, yes. But what I will say, I am the oldest one.
David's the oldest one. Yes, indeed.
Yep. I'll say I am 15. A couple questions actually in the chat.
I am 17.
Yes, someone asked, is this the strongest category? No, the strongest category is category 5, which Matthew quote unquote reached. That's something that will be argued about later on eventually, I would assume.
All right.
And Can't Stump the Trump asked, what is your estimate for wind speed in Port St. Lucie since the second eye wall layer will hit us later tonight?
Well, you can hear it in the background, and I would expect wind speeds. Looking at where the hurricane is going right now, it depends, because it's going in a direction that could bring it pretty close. Hurricane force, I'd say, is pretty much guaranteed, and possibly stronger. Maybe category 2 wind speeds, perhaps.
Really depends on the approach.
So you can see the rotation clearly on the radar.
Yeah. And
and
also,
where's the rotation at?
Just the spinning in general.
Oh, spinning in general. Okay.
Yeah. Joshua Buchamp asked, is it common for hurricanes to develop this late in the year?
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely.
The secondary peak hasn't happened yet, and the first one never really happened, so at least this year, most definitely, but normally, yes, as well.
Yeah, hurricane season officially ends on November the 30th.
And doesn't start till June 1st, but Alex told us otherwise this year.
Yeah, well, that was just an anomaly. That was just a rare.
Yeah, that's true. Charles Phillips asked, can you show us a live image of where the hurricane is? Basically, the radar and the infrared, their last frames are a live image of where the storm is currently located. And someone else just asked to show the current wind field chart for Matthew. Take this, I'll screen share it right now. You're gonna have to take it with a grain of salt because it's a little over 4 hours old now. But I'll quickly pull it up just to show. This is the current wind field of Matthew 4 hours ago. If I'm not mistaken, the current tropical tidbits location does have the northwest and northeast sides hurricane force winds extending out roughly 55 to 60 miles. Smaller on the southern side quadrants, but still pretty decent. And tropical storm force winds do extend a distance further out. As of 5 o'clock, there were tropical storm force winds starting to impact the Florida coast. Other than that, seems like Craig's prophecy might start to be coming to light. He said that with the eye, one of two things were going to happen: either a rapid intensification near the center, or maybe a slight weakening near the center, but an expansion of the wind field and overall strengthening of the storm. He said that the second would be more likely, and that does seem to be what's happening.
I can see that.
Yep.
I agree.
Looks like the energy is being dispersed a bit more equally in general. This is some of the satellites. But if you look at the infrared loop, you can clearly tell eye gets a better convection wrapped around it, and in the last couple frames it becomes much more clear. I'll just zoom back to the end, and it starts to get close to the core, starting to get pretty close to the Florida coast here, and it's starting to expand overall. It's a little bit more tightly compact.
Overall, it seems to be pretty resolute in its direction now.
Yep.
You take that whole thing.
Northwest. It does look like though. Here, this is 1825 Z, so this was like 225 Eastern. It does look significantly smaller in size compared to now. Yeah. Not sure if you could say it's completely correct, but it does definitely look bigger, especially around the outside. So I'll shut off the screen share for now.
Well, that leaves us with the National Hurricane Center's track map, and as you can see here, that's where the storm was located at 8 p.m, the orange circle, and that's where it's expected to be in due course, the black circles. So the first one is where it's expected to be at 2 a.m. on Friday morning. That's 5 hours from now, and as you can see, it's expected to be very close to what would it be, the Vero Beach area perhaps, and then 2 p.m. on Friday it will have got to Daytona Beach and beyond perhaps a little bit, and then by 2 a.m. on Saturday it will be right on the coast of Georgia, halfway through. By 2 p.m. Saturday it will be just off southern South Carolina, and then it will be making that loop and heading back towards the northernmost Bahamas by early next week. But there's a lot of uncertainty in that cone, and we don't know exactly where it's going to go. David, would you like to bring up the radar again and have something to show us here?
That's not our main concern right now. Right now, our big concern is looking at the hurricane now, not really later, is right now.
Yes, but people do want to know. Let's see what else we've got right now. Unfortunately,
someone's asking about eye wall reformation at dawn. As we were saying, last time we talked a little about storm seeing, explained a little bit how sometimes storms have a mind of their own. You can't really tell until it starts to happen. And he also asked if expansion and intensification can happen simultaneously. Yes, but not too often.
Yeah, you'll have to read out any other questions that come in for now because I
Yeah,
can't
don't worry, I
get
got you.
to it for a few moments. Who would like to read out the latest warnings from the National Hurricane Center? We ought to do that every hour, at the least.
I'm looking at the questions. I don't know if you can do it, David. If you can't, I'll still pull it up.
Or
I
someone
already
else in
have
the
it up.
room.
I already have it
Hank's
up,
there.
actually.
All right.
Hank's there for us.
I just popped in out of nowhere, but it works. So these are the warnings that are in effect for Matthew right now. Hurricane warning is in effect. Hurricane warning meaning hurricane conditions are likely within the next 24 hours or they're already imminent. That's in effect for the northwestern Bahamas, including the Abaco, Sandros Island, Berry Islands, Bimini, Eleuthera, Grand Bahama Island, and New Providence. Though the hurricane should be clearing out of those islands. It's clearing out of those islands right now, so those advisories should be discontinued for the islands, especially closer to the southeast later tonight. Tropical storm warning, meaning tropical storm conditions are likely within the next 24 hours or imminent. Include the areas in Florida of. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot. Hurricane warnings in effect in Florida from north of Golden Beach to South Santee River and in the entirety of Lake Okeechobee. Yes, even though it's inland, you can still see a bunch of storm surge in Lake Okeechobee. Just look at the 1928 hurricane and see what it did there. Tropical storm warning, as I said, means 24 hours until tropical storm conditions are imminent. Those are in effect for Chokoloskee to Golden Beach in Florida, the Florida Keys from 7 Mile Bridge eastward, Florida Bay, and Clote River to Swanee River, and north of South Santee River to Surf City. A tropical storm watch, meaning tropical storm conditions are possible in the next 48 hours. That's in effect from north of Chokoloskee to the end Clote River. And this is as of the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Position update came out, and it's around the same area, moving moving obviously towards the northwest, as one would expect.
Okay.
Let's see. I noticed someone asked about Hurricane Nicole. If we want to pull it up just for a second.
What about Nicole specifically?
Just how the person asked, how is Hurricane Nicole?
How is it?
No,
Check up on
it's-
old Nicole.
It's a top one right now, 80
Here,
mile an hour.
Here, I got the loop right up here.
Yeah. I will say,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you can still show the runs and everything. I know people are kind of wanting Matt Cole to form, but it's not
God.
gonna happen. They repel each other for the most part.
They
Now, you
certainly
see
will now, with that
Yeah.
intensity from Nicole.
There's something pretty interesting happening right here. You see these bands of cirrus moving in, and they're kind of, you can see the results of that in Nicole. The eye is kind of faded away in those last few frames, probably due to this wind shear. And you can see low-level center right now is right about here. So maybe this could indicate
Wind shear increases. The wind shear is increasing as it goes more north, if I am correct, guys.
Yes, that's basically my point. But it's supposed to meander around this area. If I can pull up the latest track from the National Hurricane Center.
Oh
was
god,
my-
that track is ugly.
Yeah, so is this one. It's just. It looks like it's just gonna move. Where's the Friday?
North and south and west and north.
Yeah, so a little bit further north and then south and then whatever it decides to do.
And eventually models have it going south again. It's weird.
Yeah, it's just an erratic system.
I will
we're-
say it is surprising that the system even managed to really get to the point where it is right now.
Not
I think-
necessarily.
Well, I mean, 2 days ago we were saying that it was a cloud instead of actually anything that could develop, and now
Well, yeah,
it's a hurricane.
because-
Well, I've got some
Well,
good
because-
news meanwhile. Like the Fort Lauderdale camera is back for me, so I am now able to show it, and it has night vision where you can see everything that's going on
Hey,
in terms of
nice.
the wind blowing through the
that's
trees,
good
and
news.
waves coming in
But-
there.
That's great.
But as
That
you
is
were saying,
great. We'll give viewers a good view.
yesterday-
What's going on.
yeah,
2 days ago, it didn't have a close circulation, so it was okay to call it a cloud.
It was decoupled 2 days ago as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Barely.
Yeah.
It was much more decoupled when it was in Invest. then it became like a legitimate hurricane this afternoon.
Yeah, that
It's
is.
done pretty well though. It has done
Yeah.
pretty well.
It's done
Against
better
a
than
good
I
amount of
expected.
shear.
Well, at
Yeah.
least give it a wee bit of credit. It has done quite well.
It's
Yes,
not much
this
better
time,
than I
so-
ever thought it would. But
Still looks a bit windy and a good, pretty
Oh, it
nice
would be.
waves or big
It
waves
would
out
be.
there in Fort Lauderdale.
yeah,
According to Devon, pressures dropped again in Matthew down to 937. From
9.3 what?
937.
937. Yes, I can confirm Devin's observations.
Just waiting to
So-
see if there's any more comments. If you do have any questions or comments for us, do send a message. Start your message off with Force 13 in the comments section. And you can also contact Force 13 on Facebook and Twitter, search it all in text, and you can also add Fool 13 on Skype, FOOL13.
Yeah, don't worry. I got an eye on chat to see any questions. I
what
actually
about
see an interesting
gaming hack?
statement.
About Gaming Heck, he says, does marine topography, depth, continental shelves, continental shelves. Here, hold on a sec. Let me get back to it here. I got steered off for a moment. Shelves after the hurricane. Dang it, I missed it. Okay. Alter the hurricane direction, strength, and storm surge. So it's basically saying, does marine topography, depth, continental shelves alter the hurricane direction, strength, and storm surge?
What do you mean by continental shelves?
The plates that are at the edge of
I know
continents.
what continental shelves are, but like, do you mean like landmass, or do you mean like the underwater tectonics?
I think at least with the continental plates, that kind of leads to shallower and cooler water. So in that regard, it could weaken a storm.
Well, yeah, kinda. Actually,
Yeah,
probably it wouldn't be shallower. Actually, it'd be deeper.
my bad then.
You can just look at
see.
the
Someone out
trench.
with a flashlight by the looks of it.
Yeah, just if you want proof, just look at the Central Atlantic. You got a pretty good the combination between the African plate and the North American plate spreading apart.
I'd like to point out, I want to see if any of us can confirm this. Barbara Mackey said something quite interesting, and I wanted to bring it up to see if we can confirm it. She said that they are starting to close bridges down in Florida. I would assume these are particularly the ones connecting to the Barrier Island chain. That's just off east of like Melbourne,
while, hasn't it?
Yeah, and she's saying now
Bridge.
no one in or out.
Daytona Bridge shut down. That's what Cheryl said.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were starting to close down, but it's quite concerning for anyone that really chose to stay behind.
Well, I'm getting I'm getting off track on my chemistry homework, so I'm just gonna slide back into the shadows.
It gets ridiculous with that sometimes.
Oh yeah, our lovely moderator who's been here constantly, like the past 2 days, Steven asked if we can post the link for this live view here in the chat.
I'm sure other people can, because I've mentioned it time and time again previously. It's at Fort Lauderdale Beach, as far as I know. What was the name? Lauderdale by the Sea, something like that. People want to know more about where exactly it's going, whether it's going to go east, whether it's going to go west. Does anyone have a satellite loop, and we can sort of go through it again and have a look?
Yes, I do have a satellite loop. One that's actually
What's going on with your mic over there?
Yeah, your mic was a little.
That's because I was further away from it. My bad.
Sounds like you were closer, not further.
Oh well, I don't know.
ahead.
The world's weird. I'll play the loop again. This is actually the most recent frame, but there we go. This starts at around just after 1 p.m. Eastern, so this is about an 8-hour time frame in general. You can just see the track of the storm generally in between northwest and north-northwest, in my opinion, with a little bit of a westerly jog there. I'm not sure if I see this correctly. Did it actually avoid landfall there in Freeport?
Yeah, I think it did.
That is surprising to say the
I
least.
think radar showed it missing.
That is quite impressive. Like dodging. In terms of like visible satellite, here's that one. Also,
Yeah, just
pretty
want to
zoomed
give
in
people
because
the
this is southern
latest.
Florida.
I want to give people the latest from Florida in terms of power outages. Miami-Dade
Yeah, go
County,
ahead.
there's 7,500 power outages, customers. Broward County, it's 7,300. Palm Beach County, it's 24,600. In Martin County, it's 2,900. St. Lucie County, 2,300. Indian River County, just 530. Brevard County, 2,600. Inland, I don't think there'll be too many. Only 40 in Okeechobee County, 10 in Glades County, 10 in Hendry County, 80 in Collier County, none in Monroe County, and 1,800 in Lee County, which is interesting, on the west coast there. And that's about it. A few other minor totals elsewhere across Florida.
I'd like to mention though, like you said, these are customers. These aren't individual people. So
yeah, that's right.
Times, if you want to get the amount of people, times that number by like in between 2 or 3 to get a clear number of how many people actually don't have power right now.
An estimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Palm Beach County, 24,000 customers.
That's a lot already. Force 13 predicted impacts on Seminole County. I'll get a look up on that right now while you guys continue to cover everything.
Yeah, well, there's not too much to say. I've just located Seminole County. It's just north of Orlando. So
just north and west of Titusville.
Hurricane force conditions quite possible, probable, definitely in the eastern part of the county. In the west, maybe a little bit less, but rainfall amounts will be significant. Storm surge, I doubt will be an issue. I don't see any significant lakes. Who's talking?
That's good. Alright, so Joshua Buchamp is asking, I live in Texas, so I don't know, but a lot of Florida is above sea level or below sea level, thinking about storm surge.
Well, actually, in Florida...
Yeah, right at the level or barely above sea level to confirm that.
Well, okay, I was kind of in the middle of talking, but whatever. Basically, in Florida, yeah, you have a lot of land that is below sea level, but that doesn't, well, not below sea level, I'm sorry, just above sea level, like barely above. So storm surge is an issue in Florida, especially around the Miami area. The farther south in Florida you go, the lower in elevation it becomes. I don't know if it doesn't really get to the level of, below sea level, not like New Orleans or anything like that. It's just get gradually lower and lower at further south you go in the peninsula.
Yeah, I noticed, I'm not sure if this is confirmed or anything, but E-Lizard said that the police are shutting down once winds get above 50 miles an hour, that they're shutting down services for the night. And I also saw someone ask that since Matthew's over the Gulf Stream, if it's intensifying.
Good question. There's always the potential for that, but whether it happens or not is wait and see. Whilst the eye wall's looking like that, maybe not, but who knows?
Yep. Like Craig said earlier, that he thought 2 kinds of intensification could occur. One is where the outer eye quickly wins over and contracts and rapidly intensifies the storm. But he said the much more likely option would be that energy would kind of disperse a little bit with the storm and widen the wind field. So far, especially looking at the the infrared images from like the past 8 hours or so, if you look in the loops, the storm has definitely increased in size, especially on the southern and southeast side of the storm in particular, which I guess you could say is fortunate that's happening there since that's off of land, except that does mean that the Bahamas will be feeling an impact for a longer period of time. And I can't stump that Trump said that more transformers in Wellington are exploding. We did see that video that David provided earlier of that explosive moment. So,
More questions? What determines the direction of wind in a hurricane?
definitely the flow of the storm. Like, it turns
Depends what side of the
counterclockwise.
storm.
Yeah. A storm
And-
turns counterclockwise. It also depends on what side of the storm you're on. For Florida, their winds are heading from the north and northeast. So just because they're on the west side, their winds are primarily, at least near where the storm is right now, is heading in the southerly direction.
And Nathan, we have Adam. Adam, can you hear us?
Yes, indeed.
And your thoughts on Matthew?
This storm could potentially be one of the worst storms Florida has seen on record. It's not looking good for Florida, nor is it looking good for Georgia, South Carolina, and maybe potentially eventually Florida again for a second time. I'm still trying to recover from the horror of watching the numbers of deaths out of the Caribbean rising by the hour, and watching the search and rescue and humanitarian mission from the forward operating base here in Grand Cayman. It is not pretty.
Yeah, it does look like as time goes on, the numbers from Haiti in particular are rapidly growing, unfortunately. We mentioned a little bit earlier about the situation there that not only is the largest bridge connecting the Tiburon Peninsula, which is the peninsula where Matthew made landfall in Haiti at arguably its strongest point, completely collapsed and irreparable for the time being. That does not include the people that have already died, but the people that are still there, stranded and alive, might as well, unfortunately, die of starvation or thirst as well. And the real death count, unfortunately, won't really be able to get up as much until they actually really get over there into the Tiburon Peninsula to see the real damage.
Mm. And of course, with this is a perfect example for Florida to see what has happened. Obviously, the infrastructure in Florida is quite a bit different than Hispaniola. However, Florida being a low-lying state in general, swampy state, it will be a bit of a problem for Florida as well. And I also just want to mention also that the Caribbean Weather Desk live stream will be commencing. It was supposed to take place about an hour or so ago. However, there have been some issues that had taken place, and we are looking forward to going ahead and starting that within about the next 25-30 minutes or so.
And something I actually refreshed some of the model runs. There does seem to actually be good news for Florida in terms of the potential of the storm looping back. I'll quickly start up the screen share and show that a lot of the models now are actually trying to switch from having it come back into the Gulf to having it do a loop and then cut itself off and go out to sea instead of really coming all the way back around to impact the Bahamas and Florida again, which is great news because at this point, when this storm is making that turn, everyone will have already been through more than enough.
Yeah, well, then again, we also want to also mention that even though some of the models have shifted, that some of the a good portion of the models still do flip this thing around, and that nothing's off the table just yet.
Yeah,
and obviously, because because that is later down in the timeline, many things could happen. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out.
Yeah. Basically, anything from where the storm is located from when it parallels like central Georgia to South Carolina onwards is totally up in the air because you have storms doing a complete loop. You have them taking it out and back up. You have them taking it out to sea. You even have some trying to ride it up the coast again. So everything is from South Carolina on is definitely, not certain at all and is definitely subject to change.
Models earlier wasn't showing that much. It was just showing a complete loop. Now they're showing just a complete, like you're eating spaghetti, just spaghetti plotting everywhere.
Well, it looks like it does a full loop, and then some of them trying to make another loop, and then taking it out. While mind you, I do have to stress that is only some of the models. While a good portion of them just take it into the one loop and either take it towards Florida, or even passing through the Florida Straits, which makes things even more worrying and even more worse. So it's really a waiting game, seeing how things play out.
Yep.
But anyway, I have just came in for a short period of time. Obviously, me and the Caribbean Weather Desk crew need to get going so we could start prepping up. And of course, you'll definitely be hearing from us again, as we will be simulcasting with Nathan's live stream as well. So look out for that.
Okay.
And we'll be coming back into the live frame.
Yep, and unfortunately, as they leave, I have to call it a night as well, just because I got school tomorrow. So I guess I'll say good night to everyone on the stream now. I will be back earlier tomorrow, unfortunately, I guess. So I guess I'll be here. I'll cover the storm for a longer period of time tomorrow. But for now, have a good night, everyone on the stream. As long as everyone in the call, those in Florida and still the Northern Bahamas, definitely be safe and stay with us and anywhere we can really get weather news to see and find the latest updates for Matthew. So until the next time, good night.
And that was Strat, and now seems an opportune time for us here to take a short break at Force 13 HQ, and we will take around 10 minutes, and then we will return at around 1:45. So we'll leave you now with the latest webcam, which is live, and the current radar and satellite imagery up there at the top right. And we'll be back with you in a few minutes. Stay tuned, and if you've got any questions, get them in, and we'll respond on text and on the stream later on. Hello, this is Force 13 Live. My name's Nathan Foy. Welcome back. We had a short break there, unscheduled break, but one nonetheless. And I'm joined by, I believe, Adam's still here with Hank and Nathan Bell.
Thank you very much. You are watching Force 13 live stream. We are here to keep the best coverage on YouTube live streaming.
We hope so. Who knows? You tell us. But there's but there are people watching, so maybe that's true to some people. But hey, we're just here to do the latest on Hurricane Matthew and to talk about it. The stream just seemed to go away. The camera that we were watching went away just for those moments. I'm not sure whether it will come back or not. If you've got any questions or comments for us whilst we're here, feel free to send them in, and we'll respond. But first, shall we get a update from Nathan with what's going on in Kansas and elsewhere with the tornadoes right now?
Thank you very much. Do have some good news going along with that. There are only a few severe thunderstorm warnings. About 2 to 3. Yeah, three severe thunderstorm warnings out of the Kansas City metro. There are actually a few in the Oklahoma City metro that I've been watching closely. They're under a severe thunderstorm watch. Doesn't mean that you can't get tornadoes in severe thunderstorm watches. I've seen it happen before. Of the flooding potential has just skyrocketed. In the past hour, the rain ban has just like stopped and just expanded in a major way, especially across Kansas City now. The severe weather potential now is moving more south and westward in Oklahoma. And if y'all know Oklahoma is prime for tornadic thunderstorms year round.
All right. Well, if you get any tornado warnings, feel free to cut in. But I want to let everyone know about the latest. You can see the National Hurricane Center's track map there, and I'll take questions in a moment. But just want to let everyone know about the power outage situation. The power outages, the amount of customers without power in Miami-Dade County has risen to nearly 10,000. In Broward County, it is 10,000 as well. In Palm Beach County, 32,000. I think it was 24 last hour. So that's gone up a lot. In Martin County, it's 4,800. In St. Lucie County, it's nearly 3,000. Indian River County, it's at 500. And in Brevard County, it's nearly 3,000 as well. Orange County, none yet. Seminole County, though, 80. And small numbers elsewhere. So let's see if we've got any questions then.
Let's take a look.
A suggestion that Matthew will clip Cape Canaveral. Well, the last National Hurricane Center graphic shows that it's a possibility, but if the storm keeps deviating slightly to the east, then maybe not. It could make all the difference. It may make landfall a little bit further north. It's somewhat unlikely that it will make landfall further south, but it's getting pretty close to land now. So, small moves can make all the difference, and a landfall could draw in closer if the storm decides it wants to turn left at the next junction. Meanwhile,
even if there's not a landfall with this hurricane, it still is going to make some big impacts.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Hank's here as well.
Yeah, I'm still in the process. I'm finishing up my chemistry homework. So, yeah.
Oh, chemistry. Ugh. Dang.
Indeed. Well, the storm right now, the National Hurricane Center will be coming out with an update, obviously. They'll do a position update at 10 o'clock and every hour. Last update at 9 o'clock, they said it was 70 miles east of West Palm Beach, Florida. and that wind speeds at the time were gusting to 50 miles an hour at Palm Beach International Airport. We're struggling to get the webcam back again. We might sink into that problem again, unfortunately, where they're not loading anymore. They seem to be flicking in and out, for me at least. But you saw for a lot of the hour that was going by there what the situation was. So we'll keep trying to get it back, as we have been doing for a long time. Had been doing for a long time before we finally did get it back. So we'll keep on top of that. Let's see if we've got any news from the National Weather Service and whether there's any new warnings to tell you about. So obviously, let me read out the places that are still under watches and warnings. Marathon and Key Largo still under tropical storm warnings. Homestead, Miami, Fort Lauderdale under tropical storm warnings. Boca Raton and West Palm Beach northward to Jupiter and Stewart, Fort Pierce, Vero Beach, Palm Bay, Melbourne, Titusville, Daytona Beach, Orlando inland, Okeechobee, Sanford, Deltona, northward to Jacksonville. These are all hurricane warnings. Further on north to Hinesville and Savannah in Georgia, and then on to Charleston and somewhere else under hurricane warnings, including Beaufort as well. Just trying to find out what that other place is. I'm unfamiliar with the area. Monk's Corner under hurricane warning. And then you've got. Go ahead.
We have a aerial flood warning right now for the entire city of Orlando as of this second. Also, that goes all the way up to New Smyrna Beach. So, like I said earlier, and like we have all said at Force 13, the heavy rain threat seems like it's being downplayed, and it's really a big threat right now. The biggest threat would be, let me reiterate this here, going, let's say, from Tampa all the way up to Daytona Beach. The heavy rain band is very, very consistent. The outer eye wall is trying to get on to Palm Beach as we speak here. So let's go back to other people.
I was just going to read out some more flood warnings as well. The Lumber River, I believe, near Lumberton in North Carolina is under a flood warning, but also to read out more of the tropical storm warnings. So as far as Burgaw, I think it is, in North Carolina, Southport, Conway, Myrtle Beach, Georgetown and Kingstree, tropical storm warnings for all those areas. Inland areas, that's Somerville, Walterboro, I believe, Allendale, Sylvania, Statesboro, and Vidalia under tropical storm warnings. And then further south we come back into Florida. Lake City, tropical storm warning. Gainesville, Cedar Key, Crystal River, I think it is, Ocala, Wildwood, and many of those other areas around Lakeland, and further south to Sebring, all under tropical storm warnings. Tropical storm watches for Sarasota, Arcadia, Tampa, and that's it. And to reiterate those flood warnings, other flood warnings, the Peace River at Bartow, Zolfo Springs, Arcadia, Lithia, Mayaca River State Park, the other rivers, Alafia River at Lithia, Mayaca River at Mayaca River State Park, and Horse Creek near Arcadia, all under flood warnings. And also some other area, I believe. I'm just looking for it right now. Oh, the National Weather Service spelt hurricane wrong. Apart from that...
Did they actually spell it wrong?
Yeah.
They actually spelled hurricane
wrong. Melbourne, Florida spelt Hurricane Matthew without an E on the end, but never mind that. And also some reports, this is quite serious. Oh no, they're not reports. Sorry. So they're just warning. Okay. Keep going. Flood warning for Western Orange County, Southern Lake County, Seminole County, and Central and Southern Volusia County in Florida. And the St. John's River as well.
Rain band.
Major flooding.
That rain band.
Just to say this quickly,
is,
major flooding expected at the St. John's River at Astor.
and where's that at?
St. John's River at Astor, I believe that's along the east coast. I'm not sure exactly. I think David speculated it was near Daytona Beach. I can't quite remember where it is. I think it's just south of Daytona Beach, if I'm not mistaken, or west. So that's that.
There is that. Oh, sorry. You want to talk here or what?
Well, I was just going to see if there were any comments. I hear the bridge in Palm City is closed. Can anyone confirm this? No ideas, but usually if the winds get to tropical storm force winds, that usually means that flooding could well be occurring. Other commenters can hear thunder now in Deltona. Yes, quite possibly. And yeah, I've not seen anything else for a while. I might have missed one or two.
3,500 National Guard troops deployed to Florida. E-Lizard has said that.
Right, okay. Well, we're coming to the end of the hour, so we will spend a little time away, and then we will come back again at the start of the next hour in just 4 minutes' time. So stay tuned. This is Force 13 Live. Yes, sorry, it's the same music as before. I was trying to find a different tune, but you'll have to put up with this.